What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have two stories to share with you guys today, and these are actually tragic when it comes to Social Security as well as a retirement, a pension, a plan. The first story is about a woman who stole over $500,000 in Social Security benefits, and so we're going to talk about that. Very, very interesting, very sad situation. And then the next story is about a pension. So a gentleman that was receiving a pension, he actually received more than he should have, and it was over a period of time, and he ended up owing money back. In his retirement, he owed money back. So I'll show you that story as well. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification, clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. Now, I'd like to say thank you to all the subscribers, all the new subscribers that have come in, all the subscribers that have been with me for a while. Thank you guys all for your support. I really appreciate it. Also, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me there at the TEC Show Live. I post videos over there as well. Okay, so let's talk about this first story here. This is a pretty sad situation where you had a woman who actually defrauded her father. And so this situation, New Mexico woman ordered to repay over $500,000 to Social Security Administration. Okay, so what this woman was doing is she's now 63, but in the mid 1990s, her father passed away. Now, when her father passed away, she didn't say that her father was deceased, and she kept collecting the payments. And she collected these payments until 2021. So over 25 years, she was collecting payments, saying that her father was still alive when he was actually deceased. That was a total of $551,000 that she was able to defraud the Social Security Administration, or defraud the American people, because that money is coming from the payroll tax. She was taking that money when she shouldn't have been taking it. And so, very interesting story. She now needs to pay back this $551,000. She was not jailed. Okay, so she's on unsupervised probation for 5 years. So if you guys don't know, I worked in law enforcement. I was a probation officer, and it's interesting, the unsupervised probation. So unsupervised probation basically means you're not on probation. No one's supervising you. So basically you're either mailing in something. So the probation department might send you a letter, and you just mail in and say that your address is the same and you haven't had any police contact or anything like that, and you just mail it back to them. So she has to do that for 5 years, but she does have to pay that restitution at $551,000, and they will monitor that restitution. So make sure that she continues to pay. But a very, very sad story. This woman defrauding her husband and defrauding the American people, like I said, because when it comes down to it, we're the ones that are paying into this benefit. So the payroll tax, that's $550,000 that could have gone to someone else, but she decided to take that money. And so I just wanted to share that story. Now I have another story to share with you. Now this is a really sad story, and I think when I look at this story, I'm going to play the whole thing, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. But I think the state is at fault here, and the fact that they're at fault, they should honor this situation, or they should have honored this situation. But let's play this story. Here we go.
We all have dreams of how we're going to spend our retirement years. What if the state took your dream away? A 5 on Your Side WREL investigation found the Department of State treasurer overpaid and underpaid millions of dollars of retirement money for years. Who paid? Retirees now dealing with unexpected debt, and they include one woman who called Keeley for help.
There's always something to do in the kitchen.
Even in grief, Penny Glenn makes sure everyone else is okay.
Can I offer you something to drink?
She keeps reminders of her beloved husband, Joseph, everywhere, even in the place settings.
I was decorated at Christmas.
The memories provide relief, an occasional smile.
I was with him for over 40 years.
Joe is with Penny still, only now he rests in an urn in the kitchen.
He was my best friend. He took care of me, and he loved me. I don't want to cry on camera. This is difficult. This is difficult.
Difficult not only because of the loss, difficult because of how Penny and Glenn spent the last of their 40 years together.
I hope nobody don't never have to go through what I've been through.
Let's rewind to 1996. Joe retired. He worked for the city as a heavy machinery worker, doing the dirty work, which kept Raleigh running.
I seen him in knee-deep or more water, cold ice water, repairing water mains.
For years, the Glens received letter after letter from the state's retirement systems division, telling them what their payout was and that it was accurate. Then in 2018, another letter, this one, shattered everything. It told the Glens there'd been a mistake and that for 17 years, the state had overpaid them more than $241,000. And now Joe and Penny had to pay every cent back.
I read it to him. We looked at each other and we broke down and started crying. Both of us. He said, baby, what am I gonna do? I can't pay back $240,000. I didn't even know that they were overpaying me.
You know, I wish I wasn't doing this interview.
State Treasurer Dale Falwell. Walk me through. Five on Your Side wanted to know how families could possibly know their payout was incorrect when they were reassured by the state that their payouts were correct.
Sure. That's a great point. But the dates that you mentioned are what we call pre-Dale, because I wasn't the treasurer then.
By pre-Dale, he means a previous administration when Treasurer Richard Moore was in office and the error occurred. Falwell said he had no choice but to go after the money. He told us the state retirement fund is worth $114 billion. And right now, 1 million North Carolinians are on the plan. To put that into perspective, the Glens debt is worth about 25 cents to every person on the plan. In other words, the $240,000 is a drop in the bucket for the state, but for the Glens, it was everything.
I said, he won't never live to pay that back.
What did they say?
She said, well, we'll take it as long as we can.
And they did. Joe didn't hire a lawyer. He didn't look for a way out. The Glens filed for bankruptcy.
Can you think of a man at 80 years old going back to work?
Joe Glenn in his 80s went to work to pay an impossible debt by delivering parts for O'Reilly Auto.
In so many instances, there will be tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on any one case that we cannot collect because, you know, the person is aged out.
They've died?
Yes.
For all of his effort, Joe managed to pay back $4,976.17 before dying in June of last year.
In loving memory, Joseph Glenn.
But even in death, the state found a way to collect a little more. Joe's pension provided money for his funeral. It was $10,000. The state took that too, leaving Penny to pay for it herself.
Knowing that I'm not able to pay for it now, but because of somebody else's error, that breaks my heart.
This is the man who stitched it up.
It's about taking care of people.
Ramil Ferguson. He owns RM Ferguson Funeral Home. And when he heard the story, he donated the service. Why did you decide to help Penny?
I mean, she was willing to come here and sweep and mop and I'll come clean up. What do you need? A woman at her age should be enjoying her years, not trying to worry about paying off a debt.
It was a show of grace and kindness that Joe never lived to see.
We loved each other.
Now, we know that there are 40 other retirees who are in this very same situation, and if you're one of them, we would really like to hear from you.
This sounds so incredibly unfair. What about statute of limitations? How does the state go back decades to get this money?
You're right. In the state of North Carolina, there's typically a statute of limitations for only 3 years. So you can only go back 3 years to recoup a debt. Well, the state in this situation is exempt from it because of the way the laws are written. It's very difficult to kind of deal with this. And in any case like this where someone's trying to take it to court, oftentimes they side with the state. Wow. I know a lot of people watching this are probably wondering about their own retirement payout. We have a way for you to go check. Just go to our website, WRL.com, and go to 5 on Your Side.
Hopefully people might recognize a problem before it gets to $241,000.
I hope this is a lesson for the department because, with Penny, that was unnoticed for 17 years, and you see how much it added up to.
Man,
just heartbreaking.
It is. It is. Thank you, Keely. Wonderful story.
Okay, so you saw that story. Very, very sad story. And North Carolina, first off, they're not on my list. I would never retire there. I can't understand how the state could be so cruel, especially at the very end there where they were talking about the funeral cost, the $10,000. They even took that back. I mean, that's just heartless. So it's a very, very bad situation. And hopefully, she said that there were 40 more people who had similar situations. And the most upsetting part about this whole thing, this is a state error. The state made the mistake, not the gentleman. He's collecting his money. He's getting the receipts and all that. He's getting the information, letting him know this is how much you're going to get in retirement. This is how much you're getting. Everything is itemized, but it's wrong, and it's on the state's end. It's not like he's trying to steal money. He's not like the story that I talked about before where the lady was intentionally taking money that she knew didn't belong to her. In this situation, he's taking money thinking that money belonged to him, and then he finds out 17 years later, oh, guess what? We made a mistake. You owe us $240,000. It's just amazing to me. This is government at its worst. This is government at its worst. And you heard what the state treasury said. He said, you know what, that happened before me, so, I'm not to blame. Well, you know what? Situations like this, you need to honor up and say, we made a mistake. And that's just going to have to be something that we absorb, because you shouldn't be burdening people in their retirement. This gentleman had to go back to work at 80 because he had a bill that he had to pay back that he couldn't, $240,000 that he had to pay back that he couldn't afford to pay back. It's a real sad situation. It just shows you how cutthroat government can be, taking his funeral expenses. I could not even imagine. I would be so frustrated if I was in that situation. And hopefully the 40 people that are also in a similar situation, hopefully they will be able to get attorneys and they'll be able to fight this. She did say that in most situations the state wins, but this is just sad. This needs to be really put out there. They need to expose North Carolina for this, because I think it's just it's a tragedy. It really is. And so I want to know what you guys think about this. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.